conspiracy or bad mom? You decide.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm an estranged mom, and I just say it like I see it here on TikTok.
I have a feeling that this one is gonna sting.
You like jazz?
I want to present this as a try not to get triggered challenge because you know I'm gonna fail. I feel like I need to be strapped to the seat for this one. I need to explain. I haven't seen it yet, but let me give you the context of what I know. Do you guys know what estranged parent communities are? It takes a lot of time to go no contact with an abusive or toxic or narcissistic parent. The reason why is because a lot of times the type of abuse that you experience from these people is subtle. It's like 1,000 paper cuts and it hurts all over. It's frustrating, but they come back and they tell you, I love you.
I'm your mom.
We actually saw it in the video, insane narcissistic parent loses it when son refuses to come home. I mean, we literally see the alternation between control tactics and, but I love you. I love you is sometimes a control tactic. A lot of times with these types of people, it is. And it can be very confusing for children because what do we want? We all want love. When a parent exhibits these behaviors to a child, sometimes the child stays forever. They don't know how to get out. If you've ever read or heard of the book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, Jeanette McCurdy kind of details this type of weird abuse where she felt attached to her parent for her whole life and like she couldn't separate, okay? It's a very difficult bond to break because this child from an early age is taught that this kind of abuse is love. So it takes a lot for these kids to finally break away and stop talking to their parents. It's incredibly difficult. It's like uprooting everything you've known since you were born. And deciding to go no contact with abusive people is extremely hard on the child. But ultimately, they decide to do it for peace of mind. Now, what happens is you then have this parent on the other end that can't handle the fact that they've been cut off. They absolutely spiral because they're the victim and everything's about them. They can't believe this happened. Why did my child do this? I'm a victim, but I loved them so much. This is very difficult because it takes a long time for this kid over here to be like, no, you were causing problems in my life. You had to go. And then this parent is over here like, but this is horrible. And now imagine that parent goes off and finds a group of other parents that think that they're the victim. And that is where you get estranged parent support groups. Parents that rewrite history about how they loved their child so much, but they're not sure how everything went awry. Now, this video I'm about to show you is from a channel on TikTok called Fired Mom. It's a 7-minute video where she explains why she's estranged. But this is the concerning part. From what I know, people are saying that this mother is not just estranged from one child, not just estranged from 2 children, but rather all 3 of her children decided to stop talking to her. I have not seen this yet. And I am so concerned for my well-being. Chat, strap in. Did you see she did Estranged Mom's Mother's Day? Dude, I'm gonna shoot through the roof.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm an estranged mom, and
Oh my God.
I just say it like I see it here on.
Yeah, listen, we're already starting off strong. I'm an estranged mom. That's her identity now. She has found a victim identity and she's taking it and grabbing onto it.
On TikTok. And I've gained quite a few followers in the last couple of days, and thank you for following along. Estrangement is not something that I'm proud of, and it's not something that mothers enjoy being a part of, but it does help other parents when they find that they are not alone, because being estranged is very isolating and very excluding. It's not including, it's excluding from everything.
Okay, there are some parents that I believe there's a small subset of parents that are estranged from their children, and it's probably not fair to the parent, but we're just focusing on this type of person right here. What's annoying about this is a lot of time, these are people that are closeted victims in a sense, and they need everybody to tend to them. They need everybody to tend to their ego. I've got 3 sons. I'm getting supply left and right. Oh, this, triangulating the kids. Oh, this, so much energy, so much attention. And when they get cut off from the kids, they need that energy. They need that attention. So when they find these groups of people that will stroke their victim ego, I'm a victim too, you're a victim. Oh, can you imagine the drama that's in these? But either way, when they first come into it, they feel good. There's a sense of community, and there's people that will stroke their victimhood.
Family members do not want to be accused of being flying monkeys because then they're worried they're going to be estranged from the child.
So she's directly been called a narcissist before. A flying monkey is kind of a term that it runs in the explanation of narcissism, where a victim narcissist in particular, they will recruit other people to do their dirty work for them. So, for example, here's an interesting one. This is just gonna be a very small demographic of people, but the people that it hits, oh, you're gonna hate this one. Let's say you have an extremely narcissistic dad or mom that's like very victim-y, and their spouse ultimately ends up getting out of the marriage, and then that parent ends up marrying another person, right? They are going to marry a person that has probably been abused or is okay with their abuse and their toxicity. So now they have a partner that they're manipulating like a puppet. And now if you're in the home, you're going to get ganged up on by that parent and then their spouse, their new spouse. So stepmom or stepdad and victim parent are going to gang up on you, and they're going to make the stepdad or stepmom basically defend them. Like I said, a really good example of this is the insane narcissistic mom loses it video, right? So we have the extremely controlling narcissistic mom. She has recruited and trained the stepdad to defend her at all times. So now you have these two parents in your face that are constantly telling you, you're the problem. Okay. So that's an example of like what the flying monkeys look like. And the fact that she says that exact phrase means that she's been accused of being a narcissist before. And also, I want to mention this too. I know that a lot of people online throw around the term narcissism or narc da 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 da. Remember this. I am not diagnosing anybody. I do not have a patient in front of me. We just call out certain signs around things that might be very triggering for others that other people have experienced before. And at the end of the day, if people go around saying, well, you can't call somebody a narcissist or you can't see somebody's being narcissistic, then these people get to get away with the behavior under the guise of, well, you can't call that out. You can't say that. The people that have experienced it know exactly what that is. And you got to let them call it out. Otherwise, these people get to walk the earth with absolutely no accountability. Oh my God, I told you I'm going to lose it. I'm 41 seconds in and my nose is so itchy. I'm having an allergic reaction to something.
So it's just not a good place. I will share that I was estranged for close to 2 years, a better part of 2 years before I started doing anything on TikTok. And I've had a lot of people asking, well, what is your estrangement story? Because they want to know. However, my children's flying monkey has made it quite clear that I'm doing a smear campaign if I'm sharing my part of the story. That's how they feel.
Here's another thing. With people, I'm just going to say it like this bitch is a narc, okay? With narcissistic people, they want to know so bad, what did I do? What's the problem? Just tell me. You can't do that, okay? You can't do that because basically what you're doing is you're giving them the contract so that they can negotiate it. You're giving them the fuel of why you're not talking to them. So it sounds like the people on the other end here, her son and maybe their spouse or something, they were like, no, your mom's a narc. And they tried to explain it to her. And then she was like, well, actually, you're the narcissist. You're the flying monkey. You're the stonewaller. You're the this. Can't explain it to them. If you want them out of your life, you just got to shut it down.
They accused me of doing a smear campaign before I talked to anybody about my estrangement. So I'm not sure even where that came from, because that was long before TikTok. However,
oh my God.
As I was thinking of a way that I could share why I'm estranged,
the way I
figured
can
I would
rewrite
use
history.
my daughter-in-law's own words that she posted on a public platform. And they were talking about me, and so people knew who I was as she shared this, and these were her words. She said, that's good he's coming around. This was in reference to someone else's husband coming around about his mother. I know my husband took a while to understand that she was never going to change. I was patient up to a point, but put my foot down when it started affecting my physical and mental health while pregnant.
Dude, I gotta know, has anyone ever gotten into a relationship with somebody that was wonderful, amazing, fantastic, but then they had like a narc parent? And then you start moving towards like the wedding or something, and this parent is just butting in. That sounds like a nightmare.
While pregnant, my daughter-in-law became pregnant with my granddaughter a month after I suffered a severe concussion.
Victim! Here's the victim!
Severe concussion.
Oh my God.
I have my concussion story that I shared just recently, and it's also in my in one of the playlists under concussion.
Concussion playlist?
The concussion
playlist? Concussion playlist!
One of my treating doctors, when I was in a psychosis, called it a heck of a TBI.
Concussion TBI psychosis playlist? Oh my God, it screams victim. Victim of the year. Also, I love, she's also a one-upper. The daughter or the stepdaughter said that she was pregnant just to explain the state that she was in. She's trying to carry her child to term. She wants the child to be happy. She can't be going through this stress. She was just explaining the situation. And this mom's like, excuse me, I had a concussion. And also, if that wasn't enough, I also had psychosis. And one of my doctors said that it was the worst he ever seen. So sorry you were pregnant while you were talking shit about me. But like that, literally, that's her mindset. What a piece of shit.
I had had a concussion a year prior, and I have an ultra rare disease that affects acetylcholine in my body.
Oh, the
Is one
acetylcholine.
of the chemicals in my brain
Okay.
as well, in your brain and everyone's brains.
Yep.
So my doctors don't know if that's why my reaction to my concussion and prolonged recovery was a part of it. The reason I bring this up is during my concussion recovery, my behavior was erratic. My behavior was dramatic.
Oh, it was dramatic. So she's claiming that this was a one-time event. That's not how she normally is. This was a one-time event. And I'm not going to be like that anymore if you just let me back in. And if I do it again, it's probably because something really bad happened to me that you should feel bad for me for. And I need you to forgive me again then. And then, after you forgive me then, if I do it again and something really bad happens, I'm going to need you to forgive me again. Like, that's literally the fucking...
My behavior was uncontrollable by me. When you're in a mania, you can't control what you're doing. When you're in a PTSD episode and you've never had one before, you don't know what's going on.
Is it a concussion? Is it psychosis? Is it bipolar? Or is it PTSD? Or did we just suddenly have all of these ailments at once? Now, is it possible to have all of those at once? Sure. Do I believe that she had all of those things at once and that's why she was acting erratic? No, I don't believe that. I personally do not believe this. This is an attempt to take very real mental health things that happen to people and attribute it to herself so she can escape accountability for her own behaviors.
That is very difficult. When you almost die.
Oh my,
That's
for the
very
love
difficult.
of
That's what
God!
brought on the PTSD episode. And prior to my concussion, I had been working with my therapist for years, trying to improve my relationship with my children. And he said to me two things. He said, I think that your ex-husband has done a number on your children.
Everybody else's fault.
And he said to me, I don't think your daughter-in-law is on your side.
My man was trying to keep clients, okay? She was paying $200 an appointment out of pocket, no insurance. And he said, I'll tell you whatever you want to hear if you just keep coming back and swiping that card. Either that or he ain't say that. I'm not buying that. Also, this is another thing too. People that like legitimately have like narcissism, a lot of times therapists won't say it. Some will. Some people legitimately get diagnosed with it. But sometimes therapists don't want to say it because they think a person that has like legitimate NPD is like, not saying that's necessarily her, but just in this situation, they think that if they say that to a patient, they may not come back. You know, they really think they may not come back unless they are ready and prepared to deal with that. They're probably just going to be like, oh my God, that's crazy. Especially if you go to somebody that like just does general like CBT. They don't know how to respond to that.
My behaviors once I had my brain injury were horrible, and I wish that they hadn't happened. I really do, and I've apologized. People say, have you apologized? Well, yes, I've apologized. Now, my brain injury took me well over 2 years to get to the point that I was not dealing with symptoms on a daily basis. Well over 2 years. Emotional overload happened incredibly easily, and it was the most difficult time in my life. I feel horrible that my behaviors affected their pregnancy. And again, I've apologized to them a million times.
It's my understanding that all 3 of her kids are not talking to her. Okay, that's my understanding. So we're focused on this one and this one moment in time. People, when they've gone over the deep end and they've done something super, super bad, they'll focus on this one moment. But when we make the choice to cut somebody off, we're not only looking at this one moment, we're looking at an entire history of how you made us feel. And we're not choosing to hurt you. We're not choosing to just let go of you. What we're doing is we're choosing peace, and we're choosing to move on to another era in our life that is healthy. It's super difficult. And so her boiling everything down to this one moment, if anything, it means that she no longer cares about fixing this relationship with her kids, but rather she's concerned with how the public sees her and how she can siphon victimhood from other people. Because you know damn well it wasn't just one situation.
But she said it right there. She put her foot down when she was pregnant. And my behaviors, while I was recovering from a brain injury, were more than she could handle emotionally or physically. So it's right there. At the point when I finally was not having daily symptoms and actually could start to live my life again, I was estranged from 2 of my children. And when
they got through to them, that's what it was. They got through to them. And like, look, if she didn't do anything wrong ever, they wouldn't have cut her off.
3rd went no contact. He had said to me beforehand, he had said, that his childhood experience was not the same as his brothers. But they are all each other's best friends.
Ooh.
All of them. And the things that he said to me when he went no contact, he had never said to me before. Said I was emotionally abusive.
Yep.
I will admit to being emotionally neglectful because I was raising 3 children by myself with no help from anyone. From the time they were in lower elementary school, 2 of them weren't even in school. Yeah, I knew that I was letting them down. I've done lots of deep dives into where I could have improved my behavior as a mother. All I ever wanted to be was a mom.
Dude, I'm not gonna make it. If this video is triggering to you, or you recognize this human being in someone you may know, if you just needed to hear it, I'm not giving advice on anything. I'm just gonna tell you to Google something, okay? I want you to Google the phrase covert victim narcissist, okay? Just Google it, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Just open your eyes real right wide and just start reading that, okay?
And I knew I was falling short. I went to therapy and would cry to my therapist about falling short. And my therapist looked at me and said, you're giving your kids something you never had. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? And I said, well, you're giving them a mom. However, as she said in that post, she put her foot down when she was pregnant. And that's why I'm estranged.
I love how all 3 of her kids stopped talking to her, all 3 of her sons, but somehow it's her son's spouse. That's the reason why. God bless that woman. Whoever she is, God bless her. Okay, you know what? I need to I need to wash my hands a little bit on this. We need to look at the comments. Okay. Can anyone help us? Can anyone in the comments give us some clarity? Someone said, hi, sorry if I missed it, but what does your concussion have to do with her pregnancy? Amen. The usage of flying monkeys says so much. Yikes. Hi, my partner was hit by a car and has severe TBI. Not once have they used this as an excuse to not apologize for their behavior. Next one. This is the longest non-apologetic, non-regretful storytelling I have ever heard. It has been 4 years without speaking to my birth giver. Oh, they're gone. Someone else said, this video told me everything I needed to know about you. I wish your children nothing but happiness and healing. I'm proud of them for setting boundaries. Somebody said, as a boundary holding daughter, this comment section is so validating. Yes. Oh, wait, this is my favorite one. One person said, this seems like a super good way to rebuild the relationship. And then this person said, this explained nothing but everything at the same time. Oh my God, dude, that's so good. Oh,